On. Okay, guys, welcome once again to another session. Uh, we are going to be looking at APIs today or this week for this module, and it's something which you know it's something which you guys interact with every day as everyday users. But as testers, we're going to be going behind and looking at what APIs are. So first of all, let's go to Prophet Google, as people say, Wikipedia. So it's just basically me not rattling off, but showing you how you will be looking for answers for yourself. Remember, this course we said we want people to be independent from day one. So anything that is not clear to you, we're showing you how to basically go online to find the information. The information that you require is out there. It's just a matter of you being skilled enough to know where to go find it. Okay, API. Remember, we love our acronyms in IT. Simply stands for Application Programming Interface. Okay. It simply stands for Application Programming Interface, and it's just an interface which defines interaction between multiple software intermediaries. Okay, so to just cut a long story short, it's simply referred to as the building blocks of any software application. Okay, so what do we do? Let's say you're working for the BBC. Okay, now these are terminologies which you will be getting used to. This when you're building an application, there are different skilled individuals, or like we talked about the Scrum team. So you have people of different skills who would be working on that application to actually make it complete. One thing you have are what we call feds. Okay, feds. This is simply just a front end developer. Okay, we have beds, and this is simply someone who is a back end developer. Okay, so you have your QA, obviously, which just stands for tester. Okay, so these are the three. You have somebody who is the DBA, okay, data database admin, okay, and you also have the DBA, which stands for database architect. I'm not sure how did they even. What's the differentiation? Let me see. Let me just do a quick Google. So DBA. um, DBA database base administrator. So this one is DBA. You have also what's called an architect. I'm just trying to see if I can actually find the architect. Pro. I'm sure there's a way you can differentiate. So the DBA is the database architect. Okay. So what's the administrator? Ah, the database administrator. Okay, I'm just basically just taking you guys off. Yeah, let's leave it. It's not really important. So going back to this, so you have these people who will basically be working on the application. The architect here, okay, is somebody who would design how the database should work. We'll look at that when we come to the SQL. And you have somebody, the admin, who will basically build the database based on the architectural design provided by the architect. It's simply like a builder and an architect. We're looking at that example there. An architect will come up with the design of the house. This is how this thing should fit. And the administrator will be the one to build, or the builder will then go there and build everything. So when you're talking, especially when you're doing your telephone interviews, please talking about how you interacted with the feds and the beds, you'll see the difference. When you start talking about feds and beds, you put them on the back foot. They'll be like, what's a fed? What's a bed? Oh, front end developer. That's what we call them. Or where I've worked, that's how we refer to them. Or beds. Oh, okay. Get used to your acronyms. That shows your technical expertise when you start using those kind of terminology. So you have all this stuff in there. So normally, when you are talking about the front end development, you have the feds. The feds will be concerned with building this front end. Things you can click. You can go there, you can click on a button, it will take you to another page. You can click on, you know, the back button, how it will work. It will take you back and forth, do all kinds of things. If you want to sign in, you can sign in. You click here to show you your password, username, all that kind of stuff in there. That's what the feds would actually do. Okay, now if we think of the database, oh, sorry, the front end. So this is what we call front end. And when we're talking about front end, we simply these guys are concerned with working on the UI, which we have two UI or GUI, which is pronounced like this, GUI. Okay, and please, this is not pronounced UE because the G is not there. It simply just stands as UI. You hardly ever find anybody in this industry refer to it as a GUI. Everybody just calls it UI. Don't know why, but there it is. Okay, so the bits that the everyday user will click and interact with. Okay, that's the bit that the front end developer will be concerned with. Okay, then you have the different skills required for both, and then you have the back end developer. So the front end developer or the Fed will basically build all this nice stuff that you can click, you can interact with, you can do all kind of stuff. It will send you some kind of response. But in the back end, if like I said, if you let's take a robot for example, to do with software. If you build a robot like the Terminator, the famous Terminator robot, it's got a human synthetic skin, but underneath you've got all the mechanics and everything. This that. Now there's something which drives that robot, which makes it work. Now it's not necessarily yes software. Let's call it the software. So that's what makes it um, what makes it move. It's not just the software because you've got the muscles, you've got everything connected to the muscles, the tendons, all the kind of stuff connected to the structure. Now, what makes that thing that like the leg contract, extend, the hand grip something, let it go, move forward, move back. This is something which we will refer to as the API. Okay, that's what makes that thing tick. If you look at it now, if for example, if you were to step on a piece of nail or something sharp, instantly the message there's a message, something fires a message to your brain saying I have stepped on something. It's your pain receptor. Okay, it fires off a message that I have stepped on something. Your brain translates the information it has received, okay, and sends back a response. That response tells your leg not to continue pressing down but to start going up to relieve the pressure. It also fires some instructions to your hand saying, oh, quickly grip your foot. You just grip your foot and you're trying to massage the pain, especially if your kids have left Lego on the floor and you step on it in the middle of the night. It has this sharp pain, which it's a Lego toy. Okay. And then your hand instantly, and then your mouth, you make some kind of funny sound. Ah, okay. Because what's happened is that there was an action. That action was taken to your brain. Your brain translated all that information that was coming in and then sent back the appropriate response. Okay. So if we bring that into software, you know, here we have this is the UI. If we want to peek behind this, we can do it in a variety of ways. If you right click, it doesn't matter what the website browser you're using. If you simply right click, you'll see this thing called inspect. If I go to Microsoft Edge, let me bring that here for you guys. Okay, same BBC. Okay, if I right click here, you can see there is inspect. If you're a keyboard person, okay, as you begin to get more technically good in IT, you'll start because keyboard is much faster. So you can see Control Shift I. Okay, so let me close that one. And in Firefox, it has its own. Let me quickly show you that one. So this is the Firefox browser. Same BBC. Okay, when I right click, you can see it says inspect element. Okay, yeah, so it says inspect. Let's right click there. Okay, so Firefox says Q. I'm not sure how that works. Let me see. Capital Q. No, that doesn't work. Just inspect element. There's no shortcut for Firefox for some reason. I don't know what. Anyway, but there it is. So let's go back to Chrome. So let's peek behind all the stuff in here. So let's right click and go to inspect. Okay, and I'm just gonna move this up slightly. So you can see some tabs in here. Okay, so these are what we refer to as the dev tools. Okay, we refer to them as the dev tools. You can use them for low level testing, low level debugging, just to see what's going on with the page. Here you can see some elements. When you go into automation testing, it will make more sense for you. So here you can see some elements. Let's look at an example. Suppose I want to see this sign in button here. Just click on this tab here, go there, and then you see it's highlighted. If I click away, okay, that button is there. So let me click on this one. I want to select an element. I'll click on it. You can see now that arrow thing is become highlighted. I'll go there, click on this, and it's there. Can you see the sign in button? Okay, sign in button. Okay, so that's that's sign in one. Just to show you that I've actually selected the correct one. I can change it and just put Andre. Hit enter, and you can see that it's now sign Andre in. Okay, is if you do a refresh, it will simply just get rid of it. It's a temporary edit. It's not permanent. So that's just to do with elements. There's another tab called console. Okay, here you can also just this to do with JavaScripting. You can do some checks here as well, but that's beyond the scope of this course now. We have sources. Okay, here this is the front end, the feds. This is how they've actually built, the app. We have network, we have performance, memory, application, security, all this kind of stuff in here. The ones that we're going to be concerned with in ascending order is we can look at things like security. Okay. Now, when you're building a website, you want it to be secure. You want your customers to actually have confidence in it. So if this page is properly secured, you can see some information in here. This page is secure, valid HTTPS. There are two different ways of building a web page. Okay, you have the HTTP and you have the HTTPS. Okay, the building blocks for communication when you're on the internet is something we call hypertext transfer protocol. Okay, so let's quickly go to Wikipedia. We'll come back to this one. Just say HTTP. What is this hypertext transfer protocol? It's an application layer, okay, protocol for distributed, all that kind of stuff. Look, it's the foundation of data communication for the World Wide Web, okay? So you can see it's an application layer, some kind of API, okay? It governs communication on the web. That's just simply what we use it for, okay? So here, it just tells you that, okay, this is valid HTTPS. If this page is not secure, it will instantly tell you. Let's go to 3.co.uk. Instantly at the top there, you can see it is not secure. You can see it there. Let's right click, go to inspect. Let's go to, and you can see that it just tells you that this page is not secure. So if you want to do some shopping online and you're not sure of the page, you can quickly just right click on it, go to inspect and check security. It will tell you if the page is secure or not. If it's not secure, don't put any personal information in there because someone definitely is watching that website and they would harvest your information. So anything you type in there, if you go there, you start entering username and password, they can harvest your information. Okay. But if we go back to the BBC one, you can see that this is secure. It means that the communication on here is encrypted end to end. So it's difficult. It's not impossible, but it's a bit more difficult for people to access your information. So that's that one. Application, don't worry about this one. Memory, I would say let's skip this. So the ones that you want to be concerned with: security, performance as well. Now, remember we talked a while back saying that depending on if somebody goes to Google saying search for news for me, and your page is not loading fast, people can simply just dump that your website and move on to the next one because they've got literally billions to choose from. Okay, so if your page, yes, it has all the information, but it's not loading, it's not performing really well, I'm not going to waste my time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to refresh this. Let me just refresh this. Oh, sorry. Here, you can see some text in here. It says click the record button, okay? Or if you're a keyboard person to start a new recording, click the reload button to record the page load. Okay, so here, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna click this button, okay? And profiling, okay, let me stop. And then it's loading some kind of profile, processing profile. And there, so you're gonna get some information. Let me move this up a bit. So it's going to give you some kind of performance output as to how fast this page that we're looking at is operating at. Okay, so here, um, 51 milliseconds. It gives you a ton of information in here. I'm not going to even bother trying to interpret it here. Okay, but to the feds, it makes sense to them, or the beds, like, okay, what's the performance of this particular page? We were recording for 7 seconds, weren't we? And at -5, you're getting quite loads of information here, how quickly things are loading, how quickly things are moving. So again, you can just quickly do some kind of performance check here. But the one that actually concerns us the most as testers is this tab here. So this tab here, let me stop recording. Stop recording. Okay, and I'll clear everything here. So to record, if you want to capture um, what you're doing on, if you want to capture information on a page, doesn't matter what the page is, as long as it's a web app of some sort. Okay, what you can do now is you can just say record network logs. These are information that sometimes the devs will actually ask you when you're recording a bug. That's okay. Were you able to capture any network log? Okay, this is what they're asking you to do. Let me stop it again, or let me clear recording. So when you load the page, now watch what is going to be happening in this area down here. As soon as I hit this, can you see? It's recording all this information here. Now what we can do now is I can stop recording. Okay, it's captured all this stuff. It's not going to go away unless I click clear. This is the clear logs. Okay, this one is to record. Once it goes red, that means that you started recording the logs. Because what are you trying to do? You're trying to gather information. Okay, so let's look at some of the stuff in here. We have name. There's all the things in here are it's a resource. Let me show you what I need. So paint. So this is your computer. This is some server. So this is the BBC. And this is your laptop or phone. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's a device that can actually connect to the internet. So let's just call it laptop. Okay. When you go to BBC, you type bbc.co.uk. Okay. Sorry, my paint. I'm not sure. I think. Let's hope it's not a bug. So you go here and you type bbc.co.uk. You are sending a request. What you're doing is you're actually sending what is called a request. Okay, so you're sending a request to the BBC servers. The server is somewhere in the cloud. We don't care what it is, it's just there. BBC has said if you want to contact us, you want to come to our address, enter bbc.co.uk, and the network, that is a HTTP protocol. which governs the web communication on the web. We'll basically take this bbc.co.uk, and wherever that BBC server is, to go there and knock on the door. Since somebody's requesting to bbc.co.uk, now you can see what the bbc.co.uk website currently looks like. Sorry, there's information about the PM. What's it called? All kinds of different news. This is it's a dynamic page. The news changes based on what is out there. Okay, so it goes there. So what BBC would then do is all kinds of pages, pictures. You've got pictures, you've got animation, you've got videos, you've got static content. So the BBC is something like a static content. Here we have some animation. If I click on this play, it will start reading. It will play a short clip of Boris Johnson giving some kind of news or something. You have pictures in there. Some are static pictures which don't move. Okay, they may be dynamic in that they would change. There are all sorts of things happening here. There's even what's it called, programs that are running. They won't display on the page, okay, but are running in the background. All kinds of things are going on. So when you come, you knock on BBC door. The BBC would then send what is called a response. That's not what I wanted. So the BBC server will send a response back to you, saying that yes, I got your message and I am sending the response back. How does your laptop interpret, or your mobile device, or whatever, your device that you used to make the request, how does it know that all the information that you requested from the BBC is actually coming back? Let's go back here now. So you can see this something called two. Okay, it's not on the BBC servers. They've named it. This may be to do with let's say this one is the one that contains information about the prime minister. Now, on their website, they're not going to call it prime minister. If you look on the front end, it says PM warns of several more hurdles for vaccine. Okay, they're not going to call it this. This is too long. They'll simply just reference it and maybe they'll call it PM. Okay, this BBC logo. Let's see if we can find this BBC logo. Okay, you see what it's actually called on the server. Uh, let's see, it's a picture, so it would be some kind of GIF or something. Let me pull up this one here. Let's look at this one. Okay, this is some kind of image. Let's find out what this image is. You can see what it's called. It's called uh, underscore 1153. It makes sense to the developers. They put it there. They know what it's called. Let's see if we can actually find what it's called. Okay, this is a request URL. I'm going to copy this. Copy. I'm going to go here and I'm going to paste this here. Hit enter. Can you see? This is the picture of the prime minister, but look at what it is actually called on the server. That's the name they gave the picture of the prime minister on the server. That's the name. It makes sense to them. Okay, we don't have to interpret that. You can see it matches. What's this stuff now? That's what it looks like, and that's what they've actually called the name of the picture. If I do this now, if I go here and I add something to it, maybe I add a 2 and I hit enter, it will come back with an error message that you don't have permission to access this resource. So what I was trying to do, maybe it's a legitimate resource, but it's telling me that I don't have access to that resource. Okay, so this is how all these pictures, everything stored on that server is given a name. So when you go there and you request, you're doing a request, it will ping back all the information that it has on that particular page back to you, saying that you've asked for all this information, here you are. If something is broken, it will come back with some kind of error message. Let me go to, you know, I mean, messing about with just web development. Start a project, WebStorm. I do have something. Let me just see. Start a project. Whatever. Okay, this thing keeps changing. Sorry, bear with me 2 secs. I'm just gonna quickly show you. I have something not on the C drive. 26. It's only showing it out here. Come on, load, load, load. So you can just see a practical example. Web dev. So mine. On this. Okay, start approach. Load modules. All right, there was something I was actually building. I'm trying to see if I can actually bring it up. Come on. The machine is just a bit slow today. Docs. Personal site here. That's the one I want. Pages. Okay, so where is it now? The index page. Okay, let's open this up. So this is, no, that's not the one I wanted. Index page, landing page. Type me. Okay. Uh, is there a better one? Index landing page. Oh yes. So this is just my page, messing about with just HTML and all that kind of stuff in here. So this is what the page looks like. Let's go into the inspection phase. Okay, so you can see the network. Okay. Let me refresh the page and we can capture the data. So the data I have on my page is not much. You can see it's just there's not enough information, not animations and stuff like that, compared to the BBC website where you have a ton of information, a ton of pictures. It's just a simple thing in here. And here is my image. This is what I've called it, AndreData.jpg. It's an image, it's a picture. Okay, it's a picture. So I've just called it that one. Now, suppose I make a request. So I made a request to the server, which is running on my machine, and it's giving you this page. So that's the page you're looking at. Okay, it's giving me information, all that kind of stuff in here. Now, suppose I change this picture. Where is it now? Okay, so that's what it's actually called there. That's it there. Suppose I make a mistake. Okay, and I go back. Let me refresh, and you'll see what's going to happen. So please let me go back to the network. So please, you can see you're seeing all the status 200. Oh, don't worry, you'll see what's going to happen now. I make a request. Now look at what's happened. Let me clear and do refresh again. That Andre, that 200 has changed to a 400. What's going on? So the names of all this stuff, like I said, you've just seen that I gave the names because it's easy for me to remember that that's the name of the picture. If I had multiple pictures here, I would give them different names so I know which one I'm referring to. Same as the BBC, they decided to call the place where they've actually stored that. The name given to this stuff is whatever they call, whatever they wanted to call it. That's here. You think they would simply just call it maybe Prime Minister the JPEG, but hey, it's down to them. So here I've done this. So these are just to do with the names, the status codes. Now, when you do anything on on any website, any web app, it comes back with the status code telling you this status code tells you if your request has been successful or not. If it's coming back, this is what is on the BBC. Okay, everything is on here. If something is wrong, how does your laptop or your device that you use to make the request, how does it know that it has gotten everything back or not? How does it know? Okay, so each and every of this stuff, part of the API is saying that if you don't deliver this stuff as we expected you to deliver it to, please send the appropriate code. So all these things actually comes to the status code. So you can see 200s, 200s, 200s. If you're seeing 200s, it means everything's working fine. Okay, let's go back to mine. Now you're seeing something called a 404, not found. Okay, let's go back to that Prime Minister one. Let me do the inspection first. go to network. Let me clear the data, hit refresh. You can see you've got a 304, you've got a 200. Let me put something in there. Let's put a 5, then hit enter. Now you're getting a 403. Okay, you're getting a 403. So all kinds of code. How do we interpret what these codes are? We'll look at it in a very short while. And it tells you the type of what's called resource that you're looking at. This is a document, okay, landing page.html on my um, where I'm actually developing this app from. Okay, you can see there it is, landing page.html. So it's a document, so that's fine. What's the next one? Style CSS. So you can see this is a style sheet. Okay, here I have what is it now? CSS. I have a style sheet. There it is, which basically this governs. You don't need to know anything about all this one. It simply governs how the picture or how the page, the layout of the page, the colors, everything, how it will be displayed. That's what the style sheet simply. But you don't even see that, but it just tells you that that is there. Now, suppose the style sheet was corrupted, you'll get some kind of error message. So even though the layman is not seeing anything to do with the style sheet, but you as a tester will be able to interpret that, oh, something has gone wrong with the style sheet. Okay? You can tell a lot of information. This favicon, there's so much. This, you can see at the top where it says Andre Dada, you can see there are two horse heads, like a knight. Okay? That's just a favicon icon. If anything is broken, you would instantly know, because by coming here, you can see instantly what has gone wrong. Now, suppose you came to my page. You've never been to my page before. You come here, you see Andre Dada profile picture. It can be very hard for you to know that something is broken. Okay, it can be hard for you to know that there's something missing. But by going into the inspection and going to network, so just clear and do a refresh, it tells you instantly that, oh, there's something missing. So when the developer, if you're testing, the developer will ask you, oh, were you able to grab any network logs? This is what they mean. By you simply just coming here and copying, by doing a screenshot of this stuff here, you've told the developer exactly what the problem is. Okay, that okay, given you're on the login, you're on the landing page. When you hit refresh, the Andre Dada picture is not displayed. Okay, they know the picture is not displayed, but could you have any more information that could be of of more help? So you go in there and just tell them that this. When they see this, they know that, oh, it seems like there's something wrong with the naming structure. So they will simply just go there and go try and figure out to see, oh, have we got it right? Oh, sorry. Okay, so that's what it should be. And then they'll come back here, they'll do a test. Ah, there it is. So they fixed it. They'll let you know that, oh, it's been fixed. It'll be the fix will be in the next version of the app. So that's what they require from you. So, like I said, the two things that I'll recommend that we focus on here is the security and the network. Security, you can quickly do a quick check. Okay, is this secure? If anything pops up to do with security, you normally will find it in that security tab. Okay. Now here we are. We're here, and like I said, this is used for quick inspection of something that has gone wrong. You can get information from here, like, oh, okay, this is broken. If a link is broken, suppose let me look at this page now. Here you can see manual software testing. If I click that, it will just take you to a blank page, to do like if that link is broken, it will tell you. Okay, it should tell you if that link is broken. So many things that you can actually um, figure out just from looking at here. Okay, so what do these status codes mean? What do they mean? Okay, let's quickly go back to APIs. So we know that the APIs is simply just a building block. It's how we build application. Let's go to HTTP status code. Okay, so we have status codes here. There's a ton here. Here, there's actually an interview question that deals with this thing we're learning here, and it's something which we will explore when it comes to the interview stage of things. Now, here you can see we're looking at. Let me go back here. We can see 200s, 200s, 204s. When I broke something, it now changed to 400s. I'll tell you the ones that you're going to encounter the most when it comes to test, because there's quite a lot. You can't learn every single one of them. But it'd be good to know the most common ones, because those are the ones that you'll likely encounter as a tester. So here we go. The hundreds. Okay. This is just to do with informational response. You have the continuous switching protocols, early hints. So when you see any um, code that that is tagged 100, I'm sure this BBC one, because there's quite a lot of information here. You should okay. Let's go to something. Let's go to US election. So I'm gonna clear the data. Then I'm gonna refresh. Sure, you see some stuff in there. Okay, so you can see 200, 200. So that's looking good. 200, 200. There's this one is blocked. Not, it might not necessarily be a bug of some sort. Okay, it's just saying blocked for whatever reason. Unless you can actually see some kind of evidence. Maybe there's something on the page and it's really, really bad. That's what I'll say. Bother about those kind of things in there. Okay, let's close that one now. So, where is it now? HTTP. So the hundreds, I would say don't really bother with them too much. To be honest, I haven't actually encountered 100 codes in my years of testing. It's not something I come across. But the ones that you are going to be dealing with the most is the 200s. Like it is success. When you see any status code and it has a 200, it is a successful request of some sort. Now, those successful requests are based on different criteria. When you see a 200, that just means that it is good. It is the standard response to successful HTTP requests. It simply means that, yes, the stuff you requested for has been delivered to you. That's what it just means. You see a 200, it means that what you asked for has been um, given to you. Now, the way you request that method is what we use called a GET request. So here, when you typed in bbc.co.uk and you hit enter, what you basically did was to send what is called a GET request. Okay, that means get me something. So you are the client. This is what we call this a client. Okay, client and server. So this is just the how the terminology comes about. When we're talking about server, 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 why is it called a server? It's a servant. You're asking it, hey, fetch me this. Okay, that's why you're saying you're the client, you're saying, get me the bbc.co.uk page. And the server will serve you the bbc.co.uk page, saying, here you are. You're the client. We must please the client. Or as they say, the customer is always right. So, whatever you're using to request that information is the client. Whoever is providing the information is the server. So once you provide this, you're asking using what's called a GET request, and this will now send like a response. So this is the response. Okay, whatever the response may be, it could be a 200, it could be a 300 type, 400 type, 500 type, or a 100 type. Doesn't matter. Okay, based on what the status code is, will let you know if the information we requested for will be displayed or not. So whenever you see 200s, yes, you're on the right path. So you have the 200s. 201, creation of a new resource. Here is where you say, you go to the bbc.co.uk and it says, if you want more personalized stuff, create an account. So you go to the page where it says sign in. If you don't have an account, it will ask you to register now. As soon as you create an account and that account creation is successful, the BBC server will notify your page with, it's going to come back with a 201 response. That's simply used denote that yes, we have created something for you. 202, um, I've never come across a 202. Okay, but you can read up on it here. I'm just telling you the ones that you would expect to deal with the most. So we have the 201, 200s, the 201s, 203. Uh, I, to be honest, I've never encountered 203. 204. Now, there's some things that you would actually do where it's superfluous to actually send a response back. Let's say um, you were deleting a resource. Okay, somebody is leaving. Let me. How would I put it now? Maybe you go to. Let's go to Amazon. You're shopping on Sainsbury's. Okay, so Sainsbury's. You're shopping on the Sainsbury's website, and you've put some items into your what's it called, shopping cart. Put order. Order stuff. Okay, I've added this to my shopping. Goodness, just give me stuff to Tesco. It's the problem. That's stuff. Let me just go to next. Next, I'll call it UK. Let me just, man, footwear. I'm just gonna buy something. Okay, so buy this. So you put this add to bag. So it goes into your shopping cart. Okay, so add choose size. Sorry, add to bag. And if I go to my shopping cart, it is now in my shopping cart. Let's view my shopping cart. It's in here. I'm no longer interested. You know what? I'm just going to delete this. Quantity. Where's the delete button? Remove item. This one, it may just send a 204. Okay. I'm not going to send any. I'm going to carry out your request, but there's no point saying, oh, I've deleted it. Okay, you deleted it. Just get rid of it. And the server successfully processed the request, but it's not returning any content. It's not like when you create an account or you create something and then something will be displayed on the front page saying that, congratulations, you have successfully created a new user account. Okay? That's more beneficial to let you know that you've actually created stuff. But if you're just deleting stuff, oh well, you've deleted it. What's the point? I'm not going to bother, with giving you any more information. It's deleted, it's gone. Okay. So here, reset content 205, never encountered it. 206, never encountered it. 207, never encountered it. 208, and the rest never encountered them. So the ones for successful is 200, 201s, 204. Those are the three that I've always encountered. The rest, I don't even bother myself, what they do, because I've not encountered them in my years of testing. You don't have the 300s. Even the 300s, there's just a few that you're going to encounter. This is where we are talking about redirection. You are being redirected from, you went to, let me show you an example. Let me see. If I go to bbc.com, I hit enter, it has redirected me to bbc.co.uk. Let's inspect and see if this is true. So we go to network. Okay. So bbc.com. Okay, let's hit enter. So it's done some redirection. Let's see if we can actually find that redirection. So here it was, bbc.com. I'm trying to see if we can actually find the 30, some 300. Okay, it didn't. Okay, it's not on this one. There's some websites that you would actually go to, and then when you type in the name of the website, maybe they've moved. Okay, it used to be called is it Plexum? Let me see if this guy still exists. There's a website, Ox Matrix. Okay, it's this guy, Ox Matrix. It's a friend of mine, Ox Matrix. .com. He used to have this website. Okay, let's see, oxmatrix.com. Let me hit enter. Let me see if he's going to do the redirection. He's left it. He no longer uses this website. He has a new website called Plexum.com. Let's see. So Plexum used to be called Oxmatrix. So when you typed Oxmatrix in there, it would actually redirect you to Plexum. Now, if you were to check the network status, okay, what you would actually see in there, you would actually see three, what's it called? Um what's it called? You probably see, what's it called? 300 or 301. Okay, no, no, it wasn't a three. It wasn't a 301. You will see some. What was the 300? It was something that you would actually see. You will see some kind of message saying that we're now called Plexum. It's just alerting you. It's so that you don't panic and say, "But I typed in Ox Matrix. Now I'm seeing Plexum. What's going on?" Okay, it's just telling you that with that three. I think it was a 300. Oh no, 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 it was redirection. It wasn't moved permanently. It was what was it? I think it was a 308. Yeah, it was a 308. So you'll see the page, you'll see Ox Matrix displayed for a couple of seconds. There'll be a message that's saying that, oh, by the way, we're now called Plexum. Okay, this change will be permanent by such and such date. So please no longer use Ox Matrix, use Plexum.com, all that kind of stuff in there. And then maybe after like 5 seconds, giving you time to read the message and not to panic you, then Plexum.com will now display. So you know that when you type in Ox Matrix, that's the reason why you're now seeing Plexum. So you see that kind of redirect in there. Now, once it's been moved permanently, okay, that's when you probably see a 301. Okay, once it's all permanent, as soon as you type it in there, it won't even bother to just do it automatically. So that's when you get a 301. So you're working for an organization, they're called nikitoyin.com. Okay. And then you've been working there. They now say, okay, guys, we're going to be moving to our new name, which is wonderwoman.com. Okay, fantastic. Um, that's a kind of a test that you would actually do just to say, okay, uh, pending the time while we're, alerting all our customers that this is our new name, you could do a test just to ensure that, okay, when you when somebody types in the nikitoyi.com, there will be some message being displayed saying that, okay, we're taking you to another place, so please don't panic. Okay, we're taking you somewhere else, which is our new home, so please don't panic, and then it will happen. Now, once you've said by such and such date, by January 1st, 2021, it's going to be permanent. That's when you will now come there again. If somebody types in oxmatrix.com, plexum.com will simply just show straight away. That is, that's a 301. Until when there's time, you simply just give up the Ox Matrix. As you can see with this guy, he no longer bothers with the Ox Matrix because all his customers now know that he no longer goes by Ox Matrix. So if you type in Ox Matrix, this is where you would actually come to. Okay, I think it's oxmatrix.net. Let me just do a quick check. Oxmatrix. I'm just checking just to make sure. Okay. So when you go there, you will know that okay, they've given you enough time, just to sensitize you that we are no longer here. After a while, you move on. It's like you're changing address. You do the redirection of mail, okay, for maybe like 3 months, just to make sure that you get all your mail in case you've missed any. But after 3 months, there's no point you continue with the redirection of mail because you've moved everything in there. So you can now just, like you notify the post office that I'm no longer continuing with the redirection of mail, let it end. So any mail that gets sent to to your previous address, the owner is at liberty to throw it in the bin or send it back and say no longer living at this address. Okay, so you've given them that address. This is my new home because you've given people enough time to, take notice of your new address. So that's a 301. So the ones that you would actually be dealing with is just the 301 and the 308. Okay, 301 and 308. You don't have the 400s. These are client errors. This is whenever you see 400, take it that the user is the fault. Okay, the user is most likely the cause of the problem. Like here, I typed in, you know, so look at what it looks like. This is what it looks like. When I was typing this URL, maybe I missed out something. Hit enter, forbidden. Whenever you see anything to do 400, no, most likely it's the user fault. Okay, bad request. When you get a 400, it's the server cannot or will not process the request due to an apparent client error. So I have done something wrong. Okay. What about the 401? It is, um, I have not provided what's it called authentication. I am trying to access something using, you know, how would I put it? Wuru wuru. Let me be more technical. I'm trying to carry out something. It is unauthorized. I'm trying to perform a task for which I'm not authorized to do. Okay. It could be you here forbidden. Okay. We can see here it's a 403. We'll see what that means shortly. But here, maybe I'm trying to request some information, but I have not actually gone through the necessary steps. Okay. So that's a 401. So the ones you'll be encountering will be the 400 bad request 401. 402, look at this one. It says reserved for future use. So the 402, okay, is don't don't worry about this one. You see, you've been giving some examples here. If an account, if you try to make a call, so this is some kind of something like Reptel for making telephone calls using over the internet. In case you try to make a call and you don't have sufficient funds, 402 pay a code. It will ping as soon as you try to make a call and it hits their servers. If you check your account balance, oh, this person doesn't have enough money. If you just send a 402 request, as soon as your phone or whatever you're trying to use to make the call gets that 402 request, you just go, that beep, dun, 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 sorry, then the message will play saying you don't have enough funds to continue with this call. To make a payment, it will tell you how to go make a payment and everything. Even Shopify, okay, when your account has been disabled because you've not paid your fees, anytime you try to go online to your Shopify account, it will send a 402 request back, letting then some message. Okay, so let's go back here. So the backend guys, okay, they are the ones working on the server. As soon as they were just working on the code that as soon as they get a 402 request, they will send, if it's something that the client, maybe the client is doesn't have enough money in their account, they will tell the server issue a 402. The Fed will now say as soon as a 402 comes, display a message. Okay, because I mean, how would you interpret if you were seeing 402 messages? What does that mean? Look at this one here, forbidden. We don't want the user to see this message. Okay, remember, I'm going directly to the server to request it. That's why you're seeing forbidden. We don't want the user to see this. Okay, we don't want to scare them. As soon as you see, some people might panic. Oh no, have I been hacked? So they'll tell the feds, once you see this 403 message, please handle it in a better way. Let me show you. Let's go to next.co.uk. So here is a product. I'm just going to type gibberish in here. I'm looking for this product. I hit enter. That product doesn't exist. Now look, as soon as, let me do the inspect. Let's see if, let's go to network. Okay, I'm gonna type this gibberish again. You can see, can you see 404? This thing doesn't exist. Whatever I just typed in, that gibberish I just typed in here, it doesn't exist. So rather than scaring the customer with that forbidden message and everything, this stuff, as soon as the front end guys, they've coded the thing that as soon as they get a 404 message from the server, handle it with this nice. Isn't this better? I mean, we found no results that closely matches the search for something. Suggestions. So the front end will take that 404 message and then create a message that is much more appealing rather than coming up with the message and saying forbidden, you know, rather than forbidden, all this kind of stuff, you're scaring the customer. Okay. So that's the relationship between the backend developers and the front end developers. The backend developers are working on the server saying that, okay, if you get this stuff and it's a 404, just send it back to the client, the front end. The front end guys will know how to handle it. If it's a 200, send it back. They know what to do with that. Okay. So that's what you then get. So the 403 forbidden. We don't want customers saying forbidden. Okay. The request contained valid data and was understood by the server, but the server is refusing action. It could be that for a variety of reasons. You don't have the necessary permissions or something. You don't. So again, the front end of the feds would have to handle this thing. Once you see stuff like this, where is that next? This is what you call an unhandled error. Okay, the error has not been handled. It's a legitimate error, quite all right, but it has not been handled properly. So again, we want them to see something nice like this. We've tried doing something, we don't understand it. Okay, we know it's a 400 because it's not our fault, it's the client's fault, but we're just telling them, okay, why don't you give them some, tips on how to go about shopping on the website. So once they see this, they are much more reassured that, oh, okay, I'm not being hacked or whatever. Okay, okay, maybe I typed in something wrong, misspelling or something. Let me try again, or let me take their advice and do one of these bullet points that I've actually listed here. So, what next? You then have the 404. It simply means that this thing is not found. You're requesting for a resource that doesn't exist. So if where was the BBC one? Let's go back. So on the BBC, tomorrow, let me say I bookmark this page. Okay, let me bookmark this page. So bookmark this. Okay, and I'll call it US election. No, let me remove. I don't want this one. Let me look for something. Okay, let me just go here. No, let's go back here. Biden pushes forward with plans for office. Okay, so Joe Biden is going ahead that he thinks he's going to be the president. Okay, so he's already arranging his office, selecting people and all whatnot. And I have bookmarked this page. Okay, suppose I'm a Biden fan and I go, oh, yes, Biden is a lovely guy. I'll bookmark this page. So it's saving the automation. When I go here, I can always come back to it. So let me show you. Maybe at the bottom, and I click on this, and there it is. Woohoo! My man Biden, my woman Kamala, yay! They're gonna be this that. And then tomorrow, what's his name? Pulls a shocker. Donald Trump. He's able to overturn all the stuff he's been talking about, rigged elections and all whatnot, this that. And then obviously the BBC will take this off. When I go back, and obviously I bookmarked it. When I go back and I hit this, it will just tell me that that page doesn't exist. Okay, that's where it just tell me 404, not found. It doesn't exist. Okay, so again, you have all kinds of 404s. Let me tell you the ones there's so many in there. The ones you're going to encounter as a tester, let me tell you this: 400s, 401s, 403, 404. Okay, or 405. Very rarely will you encounter a 405, but those are the ones that you'll encounter. All the other ones have to do with the developers. Okay, I would be very surprised if you encounter this just as a manual tester. But go read up on them and see what they mean. Now, the 500s, we're going to be rounding up shortly, are to do with the server. It's where the server is down. When you see a 500, it's not the fault of the client. It's the fault of the server doesn't, it's down. Something has happened to the server. Now, there's quite a lot in here, okay? But the development team, this is what, let me tell you what you will find. 500, okay? That is what you would find, 500. Why don't we want people who can take a guess? Why we don't want to start telling people what is happening with our server? If something is happening to the server, why don't we want to be displaying all this information? Why don't we? A good development team would just, any error that has to do with the server, they'll just leave it at 500. Why don't we want to be showing all this information? I mean, it's going to help the developers, you know, build a, identify any problems. What do you think? Anybody wants to have a guess? Anyone
I,
wants to take a guess?
I think maybe because they don't want the testers to start changing their codes.
No, you they don't want somebody to now. As a hacker, remember we were talking about hacking. We said it's not you just on in movies somebody will just take a Nokia 3310 and then they can hack NASA. It doesn't work that way. Hacking takes it's a lot of effort. When you're hacking, you are probing. Remember, we talked about it being like a boxing match. You throw a left punch, you're watching what your opponent is going to do. If you notice that your opponent is maybe slightly flinch to the right when you throw a left punch, you know the next time you're just going to feint throwing a left punch. And then as soon as they start moving, you launch your right punch because you know that their head is going to be at a certain position within a second. Your right fist is already coming. When you kick them on the leg and maybe they take two steps back, you start thinking in your head, okay, how can I take advantage of them every time I kick their leg? They take two steps back. You probably kick them, they take two steps back, you rush forward because they're off balance. It's a probing, it's like fencing. You're probing, you're trying to find a weak spot, something you can capitalize on. Now, if your server is simply telling your a potential hacker everything that is going on, they try some kind of network attack. It's telling them, oh, that's a 511. They try another one, oh, that is 508. It's just spitting out information. It's not, it's a design flaw. It should just simply be that 500. It's like a boxer. You punch him, you get punched in the right eye, he simply smiles. You punch him, you kick him in the leg, he smiles. You're not sure if your punches are actually having any effect. You don't know. You punch them in the kidney, they smile. Everything you do, they're simply just smiling. You're not sure, is this person feeling pain? Are my punches having any effect? You know, you're not sure. Again, you a hacker is trying to probe, like, where is the weak point? Suppose I punch you in the right, you punch me in the right arm, I smile. You punch me in my left arm and I scream out. Where are you going to throw your next punch? My right arm I smiled, my left arm I screamed. Where are you going to throw your next punch? It's going to be my left arm because you got the response you were looking for. So by spitting out all this information, okay, you're just basically telling the hacker how to hack your system. Okay, you're letting them know if they keep probing, they'll check this one. There's a website where you can actually go check that. Okay, if I do something, they can go find your database. What database have you implemented in your application? That database has a vulnerability. They can go there, go check for the vulnerability, and then come and then refine their attack and then attack your database based on the information your server was just spitting out. You're giving, remember, TMI, too much information. So really, if you're joining an organization and they're just spitting on this, it's something you can tell them at the interview. API testing, yes, because the server was simply just spitting out too much information. It was just telling, and you kind of explain it. Look, it's just too much. Why don't you just keep it as 500? We know that it is something to do. Remember this: when you see 500, it comes under the server errors. If it's a 500, okay, let's go and try and figure it out rather than just spitting, oh, 501 today, tomorrow 507, then 508. It's just too much. Leave it at 500, we'll try and figure it out. That's what a good application should be. Okay? So that is literally all to do with status codes. So when you're testing all this stuff in here, okay, like I said, the one we are concerned with is mainly the network and the security, but majorly just the network. If you want to, if you don't keep this stuff here, you do a refresh, it will keep recording. Remember, BBC is a dynamic page. It just once there's an update, once the page changes, you just keep recording data. Now, if you've recorded all the data that you need, simply just stop recording. Don't capture any more data. I don't want any more data captured. You can then go there and look for the information that you need and then dig into it a bit more. Okay? So that's just that's all to do with just the API. That's just the intro. Now, tomorrow we'll then discover these request methods. What are these request methods? When we're doing, like I said, we only just talked about the get me this information. So we have quite a few requests here. We have options, get, head, post, put, path, delete, trace, connect, all this stuff in here. We'll be looking at quite a few of them. Not all of them, the ones that concerns you as testers. Okay, and to be honest, this is the one that I've been using the most, get. get and post, but mostly, majorly get. You would understand what a get is, what a post is, what a patch is, what is the. So, on our next session, what we're going to do now is that we would explore the application we're going to be using to test this stuff. We will explore Postman because we're going to be using Postman to check how information travels between the client and the server. Now, as a tester, the reason why we do API testing on this course is that we don't need this BBC. All this, here we are. We can see all this nice Joe Biden, whatever, all this stuff. We can click buttons here. This is what you call a manual tester who is only focused on the UI. Okay, the manual tester who's only focused on the UI. We don't need this UI to start testing. Okay, we don't need this UI to start testing. We can start testing the server directly. So this is the difference between you and somebody who's just done manual testing and they're always looking for something to be clicking. We don't need to interact and say, give me pages, let me see what the page looks like. No, we can simply test based on the status code. If we're getting a 200, we know that yes, that's fine. All we need to do is when we have a UI to now click. If I can bring this down. Once we have a UI, we can now just, the only thing we're going to be checking is that, okay, is the information displayed correctly? That's the only thing we'll be interested in. So when you get in a job, this is how you get into the job quicker than somebody who's relying on a UI to start clicking. You can start testing the status codes. That's what we're going to be looking at when we start using Postman. There's not going to be any UI. I mean, there'll be a UI, but it's very basic, but we don't need it. We can start checking that, okay, the information I'm getting, is it correct? Can I modify the information? Okay. Can I delete the information? Can I update the information? Can I change it? Can I do all sorts to the information? That's what we're going to be doing. Can I request information? I don't even need to see all this stuff here. Joe Biden pushes for election and not whatnot, this stuff. I don't need that. Okay. There are other information that we can actually check just to make sure that yes, the data that is coming back is the data that we expect. So without the UI, so you can actually get into the job much quicker. I don't need the UI to test. I can start testing the server directly. You can't see it, it's abstract, but you're only testing the status codes. That's what we're testing. Am I getting the right information? And there's a way you can actually verify the information in Postman without having to say, okay, I need a browser to test. Nah, you don't know that. That's what sets you apart from somebody who, as a manual tester, when they say come and test, be like, test what? You haven't given me a UI. Suppose they're still building the UI. I apply. We both apply for the job. I'm a manual tester. The only thing I know how to do is I know how to test UI. I click buttons and all whatnot, this stuff. But you, as an API tester, now they are building up. Remember, the API as the building blocks for the software. You will actually get into them because you know how to test the APIs and everything. You know the status codes, responses, requests. It's all Greek to me because I don't even know what you guys are talking about. They will tell me, okay, you wait. Once we have the UI, we'll get you on the job. That could be like 3 months, and you've been getting paid for 3 months before I then joined the organization. And if you are doing such an excellent job, they will just bounce me and say, look, you've been testing all the APIs and everything. You know what to do. The UI is simply a verification that is the information displayed as we expect it to be. That's all you're doing. So I may not even get that job. So that's the difference. Okay. So what do we need to do? Um, I did send you guys some information. Let me just pull my Slack here. So here's my Slack. So in preparation for this API class, let's go to general channel. I sent you a list of things to download. We need Postman. So please download Postman. If you need help with the setup, please get in touch with me. And then the student, this is the application we're going to be using. Okay. Uh, it needs setup because I'll need to set up your Java. I did give you some explanation that if you've got Java installed, do a quick check. You should get some kind of information like this if you have Java installed. If not, get in touch. I will help you with the Java setup. Okay, so that's the app. Okay, it's a Spring Boot application. Again, this is how you tested the Spring Boot. All these things should go on your CV. So That's what we're going to be working on. So those are the two things we actually need for the API class. So please get them ready and in preparation, because you have a homework based on Postman, and it's actually quite big. It's actually a massive piece of work. Okay. If you do it and you understand it, there'll be no question they're going to ask you about API that you won't be able to answer. And like I said, interview sessions, we're going to be looking at APIs. We're going to focus quite a lot on APIs. So that's it for me for today. Any questions, anyone, please? Any questions? I know, because hey,
Not
some
from
of you
me.
may never have encountered API. It's all new. But fire away. Questions, please. Tony.
No, I said none from me.
Okay. Not to worry. It may look daunting for now, but not to worry. With the next lecture, just as a heads up, I'm going to launch my Postman app. Um, this is what the Postman app looks like. Okay, so it looks like a browser. We'll talk you through the Postman app, how to use it. We're also going to be looking at PowerShell, uh, because to launch this student app application is not something you double click. You can double click it to doomsday, it will never launch. You need to understand how to navigate in PowerShell, and I will show you navigation in PowerShell. Okay, this is showing again your technical expertise. Because, like I said, there's some things that when you're working in a development environment, you can't be double clicking. You have to know some kind of navigation. So things like CV documents, in LS, and understanding what you're seeing in front of you. All this stuff will be shown to you so that when you get into the office, this when you're talking about your interview, they may query you on, okay, you say you know how to navigate, talk me through. By the time you start telling them this command is for this, they'll say, okay, you know your navigation. Truly, it just gives you that FEZ, okay, gives you that extra oomph, like, okay, at least this person is technical. Some people, like Olamide, she went for jobs, and she was told the reason why she didn't get the job was that that person had a an extra bit. That person was a bit more technical than her. That's why that person got the job. Okay, but by the time you start talking about all this stuff, and you're just coming from manual testing, and maybe the job is just to simply come and be clicking buttons, entering text, doing all kinds of stuff. But here you are, fully loaded. Remember, people try to get more for less. Why should they pay somebody 35K or 40K who will just come and click buttons when you actually know a lot more? So they say, hire this person. That's the reason why we teach all this stuff. So you have that extra advantage over the next person. Okay. Any questions, Nikki?
Not for now, Andre.
Okay. Cool. So that's it for me today. Let me pause the video and pause.